Hey, oh my goodness. Getting our impeachment of Joe Biden, all kinds of stuff going on.
For this limited time offer, 833-283-5050.
Here we go.
That's 833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it is Tuesday morning already. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. And man, do we have a lot to talk about this day. Oh my goodness. We're getting our impeachment of Joe Biden finally. You know, it's very difficult to be patient. We have, as President of the United States right now, the most criminal individual to ever hold the office. We've had scummy presidents, we've had dishonest presidents and all that stuff, except for President Trump, who was perfect. But I don't think we've had someone that is as criminal as Joe Biden. And, you know, we really got to be, it's difficult, but you've got to be patient. And I'm hearing a lot of people say, oh, you know, what's taking so long? We know all this stuff. Well, it's the United States of America. And when you have a country that's a first world country and not a third world country, even though they're trying to turn us into a third world country, you have to collect evidence. And these committees, we'll go into some more detail as the show goes on today, but these committees that are interviewing witnesses, the Jordan Committee, the Comer Committee with MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, these committees are interviewing witnesses, collecting evidence, and have been doing all kinds of investigations and have a mountain of evidence. And stage two, we're finally getting from Kevin McCarthy, will be an impeachment. And before that, there's an impeachment hearing. And all this stuff that, well, we already know this. You guys follow news and politics, so you know all these things that are going on right now and have known about them for a long time, as I have. But most of the country hasn't known about it. And we don't want to turn our system of justice into what the Democrats are trying to do. Okay? So, you know, we have due process here. And yeah, he's not going to be removed from office. But you know what? We don't have the votes to remove him from office. And Democrats are low-life scumbags who support criminal activity. And we'll never get the Democrats to come over in the Senate to remove him from office. However, I think that this is going to end with a resignation of Biden. You know, that old story we always hear about how they went to Nixon and said, you got to resign, they're going to impeach you. Nixon should have wrote it out. He really should have. But this is different. What Richard Nixon did was jaywalking in comparison to the bribes that Joe Biden has taken. And there's all kinds of new evidence that we're going to get into as the show goes on. Huge stuff. Peter Schweizer's uncovered a lot of things. Kevin McCarthy's talking. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. But I believe he will resign from office because what's going on here, they're going to go to him. You know, Joe Biden's a corrupt, senile old coot. He's a criminal. He's a corrupt public official. He takes bribes. He is inappropriate with women. Yeah, we know all these things. But, and all those are true, but he actually believes he's a great father and husband. And what's going to happen is they're going to go to Joe Biden and talk about, well, Hunter Biden going to jail, okay? His grandkids going to jail and others in the family. And they'll use that to get him to resign. Now, I'm a little unclear about why the left are doing this. You know, you got to understand, Joe Biden is being impeached, and he's going to resign from office probably, not because of the Republicans. We're, you know, playing our part, and the Republicans in the House are doing a great thing. But Kevin McCarthy said yesterday, if the Republicans had not taken over the House of Representatives, we wouldn't even know these things, which I'm glad he says that because these never-Trumpers and fake Republicans like our Governor DeSantis and the media keep telling us that we lost the midterms. No, we fired Nancy Pelosi and took over the House. And Kevin McCarthy is right when he says we wouldn't know about these things, we wouldn't have the evidence if Republicans MAGA Republicans had not taken over the House of Representatives. But even though the Republicans are playing a very important role in following through, the evidence obtained is from the deep state. Okay? The evidence obtained is from the Justice Department, the FBI. The bank account numbers, the wire transfers, the witnesses, the whistleblowers. This is all from the deep state. So what I want to ask you all is, why is the same deep state that's after President Trump pushing to get Joe Biden to resign from office? Why do you think they're doing that? What is their long-term plan? You know, plugging someone in when a president is forced out of office, like Biden is facing right now, is a sure loser for the political party that's currently in the White House. So why are they doing this, would you say? What is their long-term plan? It does seem a little strange, doesn't it? So I'm a little unclear on that. I can't figure it out. There's been a few times I thought I knew, but I really don't. So I want to ask you guys this. Why is the same deep state that's after President Trump pushing to get Biden out of office? The number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Those of you on hold, stand by. Also, I want to tell you all that we got Fox News Channel to reverse their charitable donations to the Satanic Temple, the Trevor Project, Planned Parenthood, and the Southern Poverty Law Center. They reversed this yesterday, finally. And it took them quite some time because Beck had contacted them sometime early last week and they did nothing, and then the public pressure finally got Fox News Channel to reverse that. So it's only a partial victory, if it's even a victory at all, because I want to know who at Fox News was donating to Planned Parenthood, the Trevor Project, and the Satanic Temple. It's hard for me to get upset about the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're very bad people, very left-wing radical, but the other ones are just so bad. The Satanic Temple, I mean, that's like supporting Nazis. So who at Fox News was supporting the Satanic Temple and Planned Parenthood? And I'll say this to you, a lot of people have been saying, well, it's obviously no one on air. Don't be so sure about that. You know, you look over there at Fox News, you got a lot of women who spend a lot of time looking pretty, and they don't all want to get pregnant all the time. A pregnancy can end a career. I wouldn't be so sure that it's not on-air personnel over there at Fox News. So this is not a victory. What's happened is the Planned Parenthood, Trevor Project, Satanic Temple, Fox News people have just gone underground. That's all. Do you think any of the men on the air over there at Fox News have ever paid for or supported one of their hookups getting an abortion? I'd be shocked if none of them have. Now, our callers on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones after the first break. And I am curious, do you guys agree or disagree with me that Biden is going to be forced to resign? We don't have enough votes to get him out of the Senate. Is he going to be forced to resign? Yes or no? Also, why are the same deep state that are going after Trump trying to get Biden out of office? These are questions that I'm curious about. Not all of them have I been able to figure out. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Oh, man. So yesterday, my wife and I, we got a new cat. And, you know, because our daughter took her cat to California a couple weeks ago, we were catless in our house. And my brother-in-law called Kathy. Kathy's brother called. And there's a stray cat that's about a year old, maybe, that has been wandering around his house, very, very skinny. He's got a bunch of cats. And asked if we would take her in. So we did. I immediately, on the way there, though, I stopped at Walmart and got all the supplies because my daughter left with her cat, and then we threw out all our cat stuff. So I had to go get new litter box and litter and cat food and bowls and everything else. And this cat is too skinny. So we're going to fatten her up. But we got home, and of course, she hid. She found a cubbyhole in our kitchen that I didn't even know existed. And then we got her out of that, and then she disappeared, and Kathy woke me up. I was at 2 a.m., and she had not been able to find the cat anywhere. Her name's Luna. That's what my brother-in-law named her, Luna, so we're going to keep that name. She's I don't have any pictures of her yet because I haven't been able to get close to her long enough yet. So we couldn't find her last night. And Kathy woke me up at 2 a.m. She couldn't find her. And we had thought she was up inside one of our couches. So I got up, took a shower, did my show prep, and I go sit in the living room. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get this cat out? Because we can't find her anywhere. I look all over the house. So I put YouTube on the TV in our living room and started playing cat meows on YouTube, cats meowing, and it took about 2 minutes, and she came out, and she was in our bedroom, and she came out just for like a couple seconds and meowed a couple times, and then she ran back in our bedroom. So we knew she was in our bedroom, not under the couches, and then I found her in there. She was under Kathy's nightstand. So we got her, and Kathy held her, and we were petting her and everything. She's still very skittish. So we moved all of her stuff into my podcast YouTube studio at home, and we put her in there. Because when you bring a cat like this that's this skittish, you got to kind of get them in a room so they get used to the room. If you have them in the whole house, not only can you not find them, but it's like overwhelming. But, oh my goodness. I hope she warms up to us a little bit today. Yeah, Luna Tunes, that's pretty good, yeah. But she's sweet. I mean, she lets Kathy hold her when she's got her, and we were petting her, and she's not fighting to get away, but as soon as Kathy put her down, she went and hid in my studio room, which, so...
95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by as we get very excited for the upcoming impeachment of the most criminal man to ever be president of the United States, Joe Biden. But first, I want to ask you guys some questions here. Are you sick and tired of suffering with pain? Well, go see Dr. Appleton and talk to him about his laser away pain treatment. Are you tired of taking medications for your pain, which is an awful thing to do because you're not repairing the problem, you're just masking the symptoms, which means you're doing things, maybe, probably, with that part of your body that are going to make things worse? Are you taking shots for your pain? Oh, man. Stop doing all that. Go see Dr. Appleton. You know, his laser away pain treatment works. It's worked on me on so many kinds of pain, and you've heard many of our listeners talk about how it's changed their life as well. And with Dr. Appleton's laser away pain treatment, there are no drugs, no shots, no downtime, no surgery, and no contracts like the other doctors require. Just pay per treatment. And appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome Monday through Saturday, even on Saturdays. You can find Dr. Appleton online at AppletonChiro.com, AppletonChiro.com, or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, let's take some of these calls. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
I'm going to, I follow this very closely, so I'm going to try to answer some of the questions you've asked, okay? I've watched every committee so far, every hearing. The Democrats are solid together. The Republicans are solid together. They're after Biden, but they're defending Biden at all costs. I think you're 100% right that he'll resign, that he would have resigned, okay, if we had a normal situation in this country where the press actually did their job instead of carrying water for him. The press are crickets. So the fact the only way the information is getting out is through conservative outlets. And it's slowly driven.
Well, no, this is, but Richie, see, this is the thing. If you watch this, this is happening not because of the Republicans. It's happening because the deep state FBI Justice Department have been giving us witnesses, whistleblowers, and documents, including the information on the bank accounts. And now there's another story that during some of these financial dealings, Zelensky had a representative in the room. So the deep state are bringing down Biden.
It's reluctant. I'm going to tell you my end game scenario is this. Biden will, like going back to Johnson actually announced he will not seek another term, but he'll finish his term. They will do everything to carry this old man over the finish line because they don't want Kamala. And if they can get him to finish his foot.
So then why is the deep state leaking all this information then? Why are they doing all this, his criminal activities?
They're damaging him where he has to resign, but he's going to finish his term because they don't want Kamala. And if you ask the question, why are they going after Trump and they're going after him? Because they want a globalist, regardless of whether it's a Republican or Democrat, because it's a uniparty. It is one big cluster, and that's the problem. Trump is America only, and every Democrat.
No, America, not only America first. Well, the thing, but now, Richie, I agree with everything you're saying, except he's going to finish his term, and I know they don't want Kamala, but there's something in play here that the deep state are bringing Biden down, and that is, yeah.
Brian, when the Vietnam War was out there, that's why Johnson resigned. Because the press...
No, Johnson didn't resign. Johnson didn't resign. He just didn't run for another term of his own.
Well, that was a resignation. The fact is that if the press attacked him, the mainstream press, Biden would be gone. They're going to try to carry him over the finish line so they can nominate somebody else other than Kamala. It would be an open convention for President of the United States on a Democratic.
Yeah, but it's going to be a loser run. I mean, they know, the deep state know that doing this to Biden, the Democrats cannot win. I mean, they're damaging the Democrat Party because they've been covering up for his criminal activities.
Brian, have you looked at the Republican Senate? They haven't stuck up for Trump at all. It tells me everything. It tells me that they don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican as long as they're a globalist and they're a global warming freak. That's all they care about. They're looking at their own financial pockets.
By the way, speaking of global warming, Kamala Harris, when she made that comment about the Florida education thing, about the slavery, she left Washington and flew to Jacksonville, Florida, so she had no other reason to be in Jacksonville. She flew to Jacksonville, Florida, just to make that statement. And Jacksonville, Florida is barely in Florida. It's on the Georgia border. But if they're so concerned about climate change, what was the carbon footprint just for her to make a statement? That was bizarre that she flew just for that.
See, Biden, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking Biden's health is the main factor here. He can't, they're going to use his health as an excuse to get him out of there because it's obvious.
So you agree. So you're saying two things. Is he going to resign or not?
He's going to resign. He's not going to resign this term. He's going to try to finish this term. They're going to try to hide him out, and they're going to
nominate someone else. Okay, because they don't want.
Because they don't want Kamala. That's the bottom line, and they don't care for.
No, I don't agree. I agree with you for everything except I know they don't want Kamala. I agree with everything you said except I believe he's going to resign. There's something going on with Biden that we don't know about, that the deep state are after him. We don't know what that is, but he's done something that pissed off the deep state. It very well, you know what it could be, and this is very probable, okay? He blew 20 years of CIA networking in Afghanistan when he pulled out like that. Okay, without keeping the air base and other things, and left, and it was so quick, they left the documents at the embassy with all our contacts. It very well could be that he blew the CIA operation in Afghanistan which was very important to the deep state that has them after him. There's something else in play for them to bring him down.
I agree 150% with you, but he will finish because they don't want Kamala.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see.
They do not care if a Republican gets in there as long as it's not Trump, because they're all one big fat club.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm telling you, I mean, you can see it in the hearings.
Yep.
See it, they defend this guy to the death.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. Even to the point where they got on Kennedy and they trashed him.
I know. Yeah. Hey, listen. I gotta run, Richie. But thank you for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. As we come up on the bottom of the hour break, this heat wave is not going away. I mean, I know the heat index has been over 100 degrees for it seems like months, but it's been weeks. And that MyPillow 2.0, which is buy one get one free, that my wife and I sleep on every night, is amazing. That cooling technology that Mike Lindell has developed keeps your head and face the perfect temperature all night long. And I don't even know that it's heat index of over 100 degrees. I just have no idea. You will sleep so well. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free. My wife and I took advantage of that. That's why we have two of them, is we got the buy one, get one free offer with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right. Callers on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll go to the phones after the bottom of the hour break. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the
Hey, guys, I pinned in the chat, right at the top, I pinned Mike the Board Ops podcast, Next Man Up. So that's the Apple Podcast link. So if you guys want to subscribe to Mike the Board Ops podcast, do that. Share it on your socials, too. The link is pinned right there at the top of the chat. Now, let me ask you guys, in the chat, do you agree with me that it's the deep state that are responsible for all this, that the deep state are bringing Biden down? So why are they doing that? Why do you think they're doing that? Also, tell me yes or no. Do you think Biden is going to resign? Do you think he's going to resign? Yes or no? No, a lot of no's. Wow. There's a couple yeses, but mostly no's. Now, there comes a time, I want to talk about this more on the air, but there comes a time with scandals, okay? There comes a time with scandals where there's a major turn in the narrative, and there is a big turning of the narrative against Biden very quickly here. And it's not just conservative media. When Richie's talking about conservative media, he's counting Fox, because Fox is where McCarthy and Peter Schweizer went yesterday to talk about these things. And Fox, obviously, as we know, is not conservative media anymore. They're part of the liberals. So, well, they can't just install Gavin Newsom because the vice president would take over if he resigned. They'd have to, so. Oh, they're freaked out about RFK Jr. There's no getting around that. No doubt about that, guys. He's not. They're not going to prosecute him. But they're saying that Trump's indictment in Virginia could happen today, and that just tells me that they're expecting the impeachment, that they're indicting Trump to have a distraction from Biden's crimes. What would it be like if Kamala, though, became the president? That's an unknown. That's an unknown because Kamala has been sucking up and doing all kinds of things her whole life to get where she is. And if they made her the president, all of a sudden she doesn't have to do that anymore. And a lot of times, women like her, when they finally get to that top point, become very different than what you think. You know what I mean? So that's an unknown. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. Biden is so corrupt he doesn't even know he's corrupt. He's like criminally insane. Well, you may not think she qualifies, but she's vice president, so she qualifies. Kamala as president would be much different than we know her to be now. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's a woman like who spends her whole life sleeping with men and kissing butt to get to the top, and then they finally get to the top? What are they like? Right? I mean, I would imagine that they're tyrants, terrible people when they finally get to the very, very top. So her becoming president is very unpredictable. I've never known a woman like that in a position like that, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. Obama hates Kamala. Obama's the reason that Biden picks Kamala. Did Hannity talk? I doubt that. He did. Fox, they did reverse it, but who donated to those charities at Fox? I was talking about that at the top of the show. Just the last commercial. And we'll be back. AOC, Kamala's AOC minus the boob. She doesn't have breasts, Kamala? All right, callers on hold, stand by. The impeachment of Biden that we've been dreaming of is coming. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Roger. I want to tell my experience with Appleton.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. We'll get to you yesterday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Michael.
You know, this whole thing is about the corruption in the public institutions. You know, they'd rather these public institutions like the FBI, IRS, and things of that nature would rather go back to the way it was, where the corruption was in semi-secret, where they could get away with it. Because of Biden, because his corruption is out there for them to see, his corruption is, exposing their corruption, and they can't have that.
Yeah, that's true. But we're in this position now. So do you think that Biden's going to resign or not?
No, I think they've already went to him and asked him to resign, and he's giving them the old middle finger.
Well, that's why they're going to go through the impeachment.
Yeah, and that brings me back to what I was going to say to you. I think I've already said this to you. I think they're going to go through the impeachment and send the things to the Senate, and they're going to tell Schumer, you're going to hold the trial or else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. If the Senate has no choice. If he's impeached in the House, they have to have the trial. Okay? They have to have the trial. Now, this may be the first impeachment, because we've had a bunch of them since Clinton in '98. This may be the first impeachment that the mainstream media don't carry live on television.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that's the thing. And as far as Kamala Harris, I think she's ruling the day she accepted the offer to become vice president, because she would still be senator right now if she hadn't done that.
But she might end up being president.
Oh yeah, but will she? They're not gonna allow her to get reelected.
Well, that doesn't matter. She'd still be the first female president. And she could coast through life on that. Hey, Mike, thank you for the call. You know, Kamala Harris, if Biden were to resign and Kamala were to become president, okay, we're dealing at that point with a different person than we're dealing with now if Kamala Harris were to become president and Biden resigned. Kamala Harris has been doing terrible things to get where she is today. She has spent her life sleeping with men, sometimes married, like Willie Brown. You know, people forget, Willie Brown, she was Willie Brown's girlfriend, is how we introduced her. A married man introducing another woman as his girlfriend in public. Can you imagine? But she was dating a married man, Willie Brown, and people forget Willie Brown was a big deal back then. He was one of the most prominent Democrats in the country. He was a big player at that point, and he appointed her to her first statewide position she had in California. So I've never personally known or been in the workplace with a woman like Kamala, who has slept with men, sometimes married, and doing God knows what else to get elevated to where they are. So when a woman who's been doing the worst things that a woman can do to get ahead in the workplace, like Kamala Harris has done, when they finally get to the top position where there's nowhere to go, what are they like? Right? Because she'd be president. Her personality could change on a dime. So don't assume that the Kamala Harris that we unfortunately know now is the same person that would be president. She could be very, very dangerous. She could be at this point, if she were to become president, and they may be underestimating her in Washington. If she became president, she could become a terror. She could terrorize people. She could become a major destructive bully, barking out all kinds of orders and doing all kinds of craziness. And being the first female president, even if she didn't run or get reelected, that's still something you can never take away from her. It's a pretty big deal to be the first female president of the United States, especially one who's not white. And she'd coast through the rest of her life just on that if she got it. But I think Kamala Harris becoming president, I think we will all be shocked at what she is like. So here we go. Here's the updated story. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy is about to launch impeachment hearings against Joe Biden. He made the announcement on Hannity last night. Okay. McCarthy said this: they bribed the Bidens. This was given to the FBI. When Bill Barr finally found out about it, he sent it to his office in Philadelphia. They actually said that this was very credible. This is Kevin McCarthy talking on Hannity last night. The FBI kept this from the IRS individuals for them ever to see it. So not only did they claim that they were bribed, we now find information that 16 out of 17 payments from Romania were provided to the Biden shell companies while he was vice president. When Biden was running for office, he told the American public he never talked about his business. He said his family never received $1 from China, which we now have proven is not true. We now have some of the most credible whistleblowers, these 10-year veteran IRS agents who have come forward, said the Biden family has been treated differently. So, so we've got all this evidence and things we've not had before. And it's what I was telling Richie. This is not because of the Republicans. It's because of the deep state. And I got to tell you, I find it a national disgrace and embarrassment that we have this criminal as our president. Now, I got a lot more to cover on this as the show goes on, and I certainly want to hear your calls on this. But I'm also going to throw out something of a personal nature to you guys. Hope you don't mind. My wife and I got a new cat yesterday afternoon. Okay, when our daughter came home from California a couple weeks back to pick up her cat and took her cat, which we were hoping would be our cat, to California. So we're a catless house. And my brother-in-law called my wife up yesterday. There's a stray cat who's about a year old that's been hanging around his house, and he's got cats, and they don't, he can't handle another one. He asked if we would like the cat. So it did. It took the cat in yesterday, and I've taken in stray cats, and I had one cat that belonged to a listener who died, and I ended up with their cat, and they had a kitten. It was a kitten. I had that cat for 18 years, and she finally died. So we got this new cat. Her name is Luna, and she's part Siamese. And I get her home yesterday afternoon. I got a pet carrier and everything else. She darts out of the pet carrier, runs into the kitchen, jumps on the counter, and found a cubbyhole behind one of my cabinets that I did not even know existed in my house that I've lived in for 20 years, okay? And she hid in there for a while. Then she came out and disappeared in the house. And my wife woke me up a little early today. She woke me up at 2 a.m. She says, I've been up all night. I can't find the cat. And I thought that the cat was inside our couch, right? In the living room. Because I've had that happen with cats, and she went towards our couch. And I looked in the couches, I moved the couches, I looked under the couches, I looked in the couch, I couldn't find her. And this was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, I can't find her anywhere in the house. And I got this idea to I put on YouTube, on the TV in my living room, and started playing videos of cats meowing. And it took about 2 to 3 minutes, and the cat came out. And she was actually in my bedroom. She came out just for a couple seconds and meowed, and then she ran back in the bedroom. So then we found her. She had been in our bedroom the whole time. She was under my wife's nightstand. So we got her out of there, and we held her, and we're petting her. This is all this morning before I came into the radio station, and she didn't fight us or anything, but she seems scared. So we moved her into one of our rooms, put all of her stuff in one of our rooms, put her in there. She immediately went and hid in the closet of that room. So I brought all her food in there, the cat litter and everything, and it's been a long time since I've had a cat like this. But when you bring in a new cat that's this skittish, and the cat, they're going through a lot of stress here. It's better to introduce them to one room in the house and keep them in there instead of the whole house for a couple reasons. One, you can never find them if they're in the whole house. And also, it's too much for them to absorb, right? You got to keep them in the one room. They get used to that, hopefully get used to you in that one room, and then you can introduce them to the rest of the house. But out of all of the cats I've had over the years, and I've taken in a lot of cats like this over the years, I've never had one that hid this long. So and the cat is not feral, by the way. She is not feral at all, which is good. But if any of you have had any experiences like this, I'd love to hear from you, because how long will it take this cat to stop hiding in the closet and under nightstands and come out and be a part of the family? It's kind of a tough thing. And I was kind of enjoying not having a cat, honestly, because I've always had cats, but I'm allergic to cats. So we didn't have a cat for a couple of weeks. I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. But then my wife and I were missing the cat. So now we got another cat. Her name is Luna. And if anyone has any tips for me on how to get my cat accustomed to the house and to my wife and myself and our insane dog, I would definitely take the advice. But what I've experienced in the last 12 hours since I've had this cat is as chaotic as when my daughter first came home from the hospital when she was born. Okay, it's a tough transition to make here. Anyway, our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll get back to the news and issues after the break. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons.
It's gonna sound ridiculous, but hear me out.
Yeah.
So I saw this video. This guy has cats, and like he makes the certain noises that they do.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, come here, or like,
Yeah.
you know this, and they listen, like they understand
Yeah.
the way he does it, and
Yeah.
they'll come over to him. So
Wow.
if you want to try that,
I'll try it.
I'll send it to you.
I'll try it. Yeah, send it to me. Yeah, text it to me.
So there's two different ones. There's like a come here or something like that, and they'll get up and like turn and look at you first, then they'll come over to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that.
In South Florida, you don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754.
Well, yeah, the biggest fear is her getting outside, because if she gets outside, we're done. But I think we got that under control. Let me see here. Mm. 1 to 2 weeks. Talk to her a lot. Yeah. Well, the room we put her in is my studio for the podcast and for my YouTube videos at home, so she's going to hear a lot of talking. Leave the cat alone, they'll come around. Well, that's not 100% true. If you leave them alone, they bond to the surroundings, not the person. You need them to bond with you. So you can't really ignore them. That doesn't work too well. 9 days? Oh my goodness. I've had a lot of cats, but usually after 12 hours they come around a little bit.
They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your MyPillow 2.0.
We got to get a collar on her
Buy one, get one free.
with an air tag, and we're going to have to take her to the vet and get her fixed. She's not fixed, so got to take her to the vet.
Promo code Kane.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
It sure is. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Very excited about the impeachment of Joe Biden. But the Sloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera offer with professional installation is back. You want to take advantage of this while it works, while it's available. I have this doorbell camera at home, and you know, we have this system here at the radio station, which is a pretty cool thing. In fact, when we moved up here from Boca, right, I had to use the Sloman's system to get for Mike to let me in the first day when we moved here to Palm Beach Gardens. This doorbell camera is amazing, and it will change your life. Mostly what we use it for is when we have DoorDash coming, or Instacart, or Amazon Prime, or something packages at the door. You know, we hear a truck drive by the house, and we'll check the doorbell camera. You know, because we get the notification when they deliver the packages to the door. You know, but we had the police come a couple weeks ago asking to look at the footage because one of my neighbor's cars had been broken into. And I'm not going to tell you what they stole out of the neighbor's car, but it was pretty serious business. I don't even know why you would leave such a thing in your car, but my neighbors did. But listen, if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call 833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield, so you can see your home no matter where you are in the world. But that's not all. Sloman's, they're going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call this morning, 1-833-283-5050, you'll get that free doorbell camera. That's 833-283-5050. when you have the installation of this lumen shield completed. Okay, guys? So it's a pretty good deal, and you will love it. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Rome, Wisconsin.
Hey, Rome, what's up?
So you got, with your kitty cat, you have the threes. You got your 3 days, your 3 weeks, and then your 3 months. It's going to take 3 days for your kitty to decompress. It's going to take 3 weeks for your kitty to learn your routine. And then it's going to take 3 months for your kitty to start feeling comfortable and that she realizes she's finally at home.
Oh, my goodness. That's a long time.
It is a long time. You got to be patient. You got to work with her slowly. Find some toys that are like home wands, something dangling off, like a fishing pole. But
yeah.
Kitty toy. Get some of those toys so you can start, interacting and playing with her. It's going to take a lot of that. And while she's in that room, you and Kathy give her one of your shirts that you have worn, something like that, so she gets to learn your scent. Keep it in the room. I've had several feral cats that I brought into the house, and they have literally climbed my walls and just gotten into places that you wouldn't think they've gotten into. But they do come around, but it takes a lot of time and patience.
Well, luckily the cat's not feral. I've never taken in a feral cat before. She's not feral. She's just going through a lot of stress.
That's really good because but you're still going to do the threes. It's kind of the rule of thumb with cats coming in like this. It's going to take a lot of time for her to learn to trust that you're not going to eat her. Become the food person. But when you're playing with her, always have this very specific treat that she only gets during playtime.
Oh, that's good advice.
And she will come around. It's just going to take time and patience. And make sure if you have a window open that she can't bust through the screen and get out the window. I've unfortunately had that happen.
Well, in Florida, it's 100 degrees every day. Windows are never open with the temperatures we have. No open windows in Florida. No. All right, well, good advice, Rome. I appreciate it. The rule of threes. Okay, so 3 days, 3 weeks, and then 3 months. Oh, my goodness, sounds like a rough time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's John in Delray, formerly Wellington.
You moved?
I moved.
Why? Why'd you move from Wellington to Delray?
Well, personal marital issues.
Oh, your marriage is ending?
It ended.
Oh, my goodness. Who left who?
It was mutual.
What happened? How long you been married?
It was mutual. 36 years.
36 years?
Yeah.
Why bother at How old are you and your wife?
I'll be 62 next month, and that would make her 60.
Oh, my goodness. That's awful. A lot of people... my wife and I, most of our friends are divorced. People get divorced a lot in their 50s and sometimes early 60s. And the reason that is typically, from my experience, is one of them thinks they're still hot enough to go out and meet somebody. And they want to go out and meet people and meet somebody before they're old and decrepit. But what do you mean mutual? That seems very strange to me.
That's what I was just about to say. Statistically, what you say is true, it's accurate. But we just grew apart.
Oh, my goodness, that's awful. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
Thank you. The reason for the call is I agree with Rome, Wisconsin. I sent you a text, and I said pretty much what she said. Also, as far as Mr. Biden is concerned, they can go on with the impeachment, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He got in office by hook and crook, and he's stubborn. He's getting what he wanted, and he's...
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you, though. If he thought that Hunter was going to go to prison, you don't think he would step up to keep Hunter out of prison?
No.
Really? He'd let Hunter Biden go to... Joe would let his son go to prison?
I don't think so. I think he would get some really slick lawyers, and this thing would go on, and they would delay it, and they would postpone it. And even if Hunter was convicted, they would keep it going with further trials down the road. It's a mess. By the time everything is completed, finished, Mr. Biden will be long gone.
Yeah. So let me. Oh, yeah. Well, let me ask you. So, you and your wife, after 36 years, do you have kids?
Yes.
How old are your kids?
Oh, 34 and 35.
Are they like upset about it?
They were initially. This was going on for the last year and a half or 2 years.
And neither of you met someone that's the.
Not prior, no.
Really, that is so unusual. The only time, I'm not saying this is true, I have known of some people that were in their 60s and got divorced, and that was in instances where one of them was all of a sudden decided they were gay. But I'm not saying that's you, but I've seen that happen before.
Not the issue. Not on either side.
That's just awful. I mean, that means like all your best years of your life, you just, were for nothing.
Well, no, they were still good years. It's just like I said earlier, we grew apart.
So you say it's mutual. So there's no divorce attorneys. You're doing mediation. Yeah.
It's over. We had divorce attorneys, but the only reason for that was that if you do it yourself, you have to go to the law library at the city hall or the
yeah.
The courthouse. And it's going to the law library is like going to the library and looking up a book on automobile mechanics.
Yeah, but they have the divorce mediator. So she got the house in Wellington, and you've moved to an apartment or something in Delray.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And how does that work? Because at your age, you're looking to wind things down, but now I guess you have alimony, and you got to pay for the house you moved out of, plus your new place. I mean, it seems like maybe you're wealthy, but it seems like it financially would wreck a guy.
Well, no, there's no alimony. Just like I said, this whole thing was mutual.
No alimony?
No, the only reason she's still in the house, technically we still both own the house, and I wanted it that way.
So she works and has her own income?
Yes, that's right.
No alimony? Oh my.
When comes, the house is worth quite a bit. I wanted the house to go to my daughters when the time comes. So.
Wow, that's awful. All right, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I just think it's awful after 36 years.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Yeah, all right. Yeah, this year in December, my wife and I will have our 27th wedding anniversary. Divorces are awful. It's awful. And I've known friends of mine when I was younger whose parents divorced when they were in their 50s and 60s and they were grown. And kids, you would think when a child's grown that it's no big deal. They want mom and dad to be happy. That is not true. What my experience has been with my friends that were grown adults, like in their 30s and 40s, and their parents got divorced in their 60s and 70s, which seems insane. They gravitate towards one of the parents and are very angry at the other one. And it really, I think the kids handle it better when they're young as opposed to when they're adults and these things happen. I think the kids feel betrayed and everything was a lie. I think the adult children take it worse than the young kids, frankly. Maybe the impact wouldn't be as severe, but I'm talking about like the anger level from the kids. 36 years, getting divorced at the age of 62? I mean, what's even the point at that age? No, that would not happen to me. But it is true that a lot of people get divorced in their 50s, sometimes early 60s, because they still think they look good enough to hook up. Okay? Yeah, because once you get past the mid-60s, it's, All right, guys, listen. Our number is 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We're going to take our top of the hour break and get back to your calls and get a lot more to talk about, too. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And I give John credit. John didn't have to tell us that. He wanted to talk about that, by the way. John in Delray, not Wellington anymore, and told us the whole story. We'll be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK.
He wanted someone to talk to. Oh, he sent me a text.
From the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm first morning meteorologist Vanessa Canales from WPM Prime News. Another hot day ahead with feels like temperatures climbing into the hundreds once again with a heat advisory for Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock this evening. We'll see hot temperatures again on your Wednesday with a couple more showers in the forecast.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true Oldies traffic check.
Oh, Taco Tuesday sounds good. I'm starving.
The Palm Beaches were still incident free this morning. In Boca Raton, we still have a crash off to the right shoulder along the I-95 north coming up from Glades Road. The service streets are still incident free.
Great call so far today. No, I think John wanted someone to talk to. What do you guys think? I can't imagine.
This report is sponsored by Tri-County Metals. Not sure which metal roofing panel is best for your project? Try Tri-County Metals free panel selector tool on their website at tricountymetals.com.
Yeah, I love Mexican food, Italian food.
Easy at tricountymetals.com.
I like Italian food the best, but my wife's Italian, so yeah.
Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is Palm Beach County's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks and around the country, including Saratoga Racetrack. Visit our incredible paddock restaurant with over 130 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional dining, a full bar, and an impressive wine list. The paddock is also your best bet for special events. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Here's your true Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rivers.
Well, it's hard to believe that his divorce went as well as he said. No alimony, everyone's happy. You know, usually, let me ask you guys if anyone knows the answer to this. How can you tell when, with men, I don't know, but with women, how can you when a woman is going to leave her husband? Women do something that's a big tell that they're going to leave their husband. Let's see if anybody knows in the chat. And this is true almost 100% of the time. What do women do that is the biggest tell that they're going to leave their family? Lose weight, cosmetic surgery, clothes, lose weight, their hair. They change their hairstyle. Sometimes they wait till after they've split, but women, I don't even think women are aware of this, but, and I did not know this. My wife started pointing this out to me when we were in our 30s and people we knew were getting divorced. She would say, they're going to get divorced. I said, how do you know? She says, look at that huge change in her hair. You know, when women change their hair dramatically, it's like a rebirth. That's when they're going to leave. Mm-hmm. Now, you'd be surprised. Most women keep the same hairstyle. You're 59 today, Philip. Happy birthday. Social media, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we had a neighbor who divorced his wife and ended up marrying his high school girlfriend. I don't know if they met online or at a reunion, but then they got divorced. All right, hour number 2 has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. We were just talking during the break. John in Wellington divorced after 36 years. And I was telling people during the break in our chat room that do you know how you can tell when a woman is going to leave her husband? Do you know how you can tell? I don't know if there's a similar tell with men, but with women, if a woman has a dramatic change in hairstyle, that is a big tell that she is either leaving her husband or has just left her husband and you didn't know about it yet. When women get a major change to their hairstyle, it's almost 100% accurate. And I did not know this. And when my wife and I were in our 30s, every time we would see like one of our daughter's friends' mothers or something with a new hair, she'd say they're going to get divorced. Look at the hair. And then sure enough, they were either just gotten divorced or were about to leave their family. I don't know if there's a similar tell with men, but if you see a woman get a major change in hairstyle, watch out. Watch out, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Cassandra. Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Man, about time to impeach Joe Biden. I can't think of anybody who deserves to be impeached more than this guy. But without a doubt, he'll never get out of office, but at least he's blemished with the idea that he's going to be impeached. This is what we do.
I stick by. I think he's going to end up resigning. I feel like I'm alone here on this today, but the reason I keep pointing this out is you got to understand all these things. He's not going to be removed from office because we don't have enough votes in the Senate. No president, after they've been impeached, going back to Andrew Johnson, who was Lincoln's vice president, who became president after that Democrat Hollywood actor of the day, John Wilkes Booth, shot Lincoln. There was no Hollywood yet, but if there was, he would have been there, right? But the thing about this, everything that has come out is because of the FBI and the deep state have leaked all this out. They gave us the documents, the banking information, the whistleblowers. Everything has come from the deep state. Now, the Republicans have committees and they're using this information, but everything has been given to the Republicans on a platter. And I think the deep state are after him. I'm not 100% sure why, and that's why I say I think he's going to resign.
Well, I think if he thinks he might get I think he might get taken out of office, and even if the Democrats will stab him in the back, that's one thing. But I think what he'll do is just pardon himself or pardon everybody. And then they'll get out of office if that happens, but I don't think they want Kamala Harris, that's for sure. So,
well, then why are they? Why everybody says that, but you know, Obama is very, very powerful in the Democrat Party, and Kamala is vice president because of Obama. Obama went to Biden and told him to make her his running mate. Okay. So, and he's one of the leaders of the Democrat Party. So don't be so sure they don't want to replace Biden with Kamala Harris. I wouldn't be so sure about that.
I think it's more that they want to have another candidate just to make him be so unelectable that they just have to have somebody else. Kennedy, that's for sure. But
you know, don't be so sure. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is very, very popular among Republicans and Democrat voters in this country. In fact, when I was at the Turning Point event, Charlie Kirk was on stage with Megyn Kelly, and he asked people to applaud if they liked Robert Kennedy Jr., and they did. And Charlie Kirk said, we're not supposed to like him. We're supposed to hate him. He's a Democrat. He's a Kennedy. What's going on here? And Democrats, anyone named Kennedy, they goo-goo gaga over. So Kennedy could, without even realizing it, could end up with the nomination. I mean, who's this guy who everybody thought's name was Osama Obama, who got nominated for the Democrats? He was in fact, Joy Behar on The View called him Osama Obama once. On The View live, she called him Osama Obama because no one knew. Oh, you know, yeah, and yeah. And sometimes Ted Kennedy called him Barack Osama. So, you know, this happened all the time, and he got the nomination and became president. So I would not assume that Bobby Kennedy would not get the nomination if Biden's out of the mix. I would not be so sure about that.
I think they want that jerk from California, but if not him, maybe Cuomo. But I can't see Kennedy getting in there. But they seem to hate him because he's.
Well, not the voters don't hate him. The voters don't hate him. The establishment hate him, but the establishment hate Trump, and look how popular he is with us. I don't really want Bobby Kennedy to get the Democrat nomination. I think he would be more competition. I don't think he would beat Trump, but he's more competition for Trump than anyone else, I think, Bobby Kennedy. If the Democrats nominated Bobby Kennedy, we'd have a real race, and there would be debates.
That might have been what normal people think, but the Democrats aren't normal, and so they want their own people. Their own people in that party is got to be anybody but Kennedy, I think.
Yep. All right. Appreciate the call. Oh, you know, I was watching Dr. Steve Turley. Do you guys know Steve Turley? He's a very smart guy yesterday. And he had a general on talking about the war in Ukraine. And, you know, the Ukrainian military has suffered much greater losses that has been reported. Do you know that, and Ukraine's a small country, do you know that Ukraine has lost 350,000 soldiers that are dead? Now, I'm not talking about civilians, I'm talking about dead. 350,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed, and there's about another 350,000 Ukrainian soldiers who are wounded, and most every one of them cannot return to active duty. And the Ukrainians have taken massive, massive hits far and above and beyond what's being reported, according to Dr. Steve Turley. And Turley is a very credible person, and he's very, very smart. And I've heard President Trump talk about they've had massive losses. I didn't hear him get into the civilian losses, but the Ukrainian army are not having victories. And that's why we sent them those illegal weapons, the Sidewinders, which are just frightening to use, because those bombs cannot be used for pinpoint strategic bombing. It's kind of like Dresden, the bombing of Dresden in 1944 and 5, when you use these Sidewinders, and they're sure to sadly kill civilians. So those are very dangerous weapons to use, but that's why we've upped the type of weapons, is because the Ukrainian army is on the verge of collapse. They are getting whooped by Putin. And I know it's being reported that Putin's the one losing, but, you know, Russia, throughout the history of Russian wars, whether it's now, Germany, or in both wars with Germany or Napoleon, Russia is huge, and they have a huge population. And Russia has always been willing to take huge losses and continuing the fight against whoever they're fighting against. And that's usually how they win, because they're such a big country with a large population. They sacrifice people and just keep fighting and fighting. So the war, according to Steve Turley, is being won by Russia. And this is a fact that's being hidden from the American public, because they do have a lot of liberal public opinion on the side of the war, supporting Ukraine, as opposed to ending the war. And in fact, the losses for the Ukrainians have been so severe, to not have peace talks with Putin, and saying you're not going to have peace talks, as Biden has said, very well may be a war crime. And if the Ukrainians have lost as many soldiers, 700,000 between dead and wounded, for a small country with a small army, this isn't like our army or the Chinese army, it's only a matter of time before we have to send people in. to back them up because they just don't have the manpower. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens. We're so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned, family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements. Like
Wow, a prediction I made on the air today has come true.
and so much more. All your favorite top quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Denson, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377.
Yeah, I'm excited to get home to the new cat.
Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job, residential roofing and repair.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, guys.
If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
For the ideal place to host your next meeting or social event, come to the Van West Palm. With over 17,000 square feet of event space showcasing our beautiful downtown waterfront, the event can provide your attendees a memorable experience.
Oh, man.
With studio gallery-inspired space, the Kingfisher Boardroom, or out for fresh breezes in the park of Bandit Square. Contact the sales team at the Bend now for great meeting planner specials for the months of April and May. Call today, 561-655-4001.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about our family dentist of the Kane household, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. From cleanings to implants, he does it all. We love Dr. Gupta at our household because he takes the pain and the anxiety out of dental work, all at an affordable price. Call Dr. Gupta at 954-922-4633. Tell him Steve sent you.
All right, coming back.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I made a prediction yesterday that sadly is happening. I'll get to that in a minute. You know, April 27th, we set sail on our 5th annual listener cruise on the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines, their newest ship. And I've taken a tour of the Celebrity Beyond. It is beautiful. On the outside, it looks like the ship we went on last time, the Apex, and there are some similarities, but it's much different once you're on board. And we're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot. The summer sales event is continuing. You'll get really great prices. Just make your reservations and lock your price in. And these cruises, we have the most incredible shore excursions we've ever had. On this one, we have shore excursions in every port. I will be on all of these excursions with you. We have dinner together every night. We hang out all day, hang out all night. We have Broadway shows. We basically take over the ship if you go. And there's always all kinds of excitement. You know, on one of our cruises, we had one of our liberal stowaways. We had to have security come a couple of times. Security threatened to throw them into the brig. You know, so sometimes I found out one of our trolls, I just found this out. I wasn't going to tell you. I found out one of our trolls, I'm not going to say which one, but one of our trolls and creeps went on our last cruise and didn't tell anybody and just followed us around and watched us for a week. I know, we've got some, there's always interesting things that happen. And of course, I was sharing yesterday, 2 people that met on our last cruise, both listeners met on our last cruise, have just gotten engaged to be married. So these are exciting times and exciting cruises, and you're all invited. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian.
Yes. Yes.
This is Mary Williamson.
Yes, Mary.
Chat all day long. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Mary. What's on your mind?
I just want to say, Artie, what's up? Anyway, listen, first off, I listened to you from 5 a.m. Central. I'm in Tennessee. And I was just kind of intrigued about today's topic about marriage. And I'm just so shocked. I was so shocked that you are shocked that people get divorced at 60. There are so many people that should have never gotten married in the first place, and that stay hooked up for 40 years, and they finally get in their mind that maybe for the rest of my life I should be happy. I just wanted to put my 2 cents.
So what happened? When did you get divorced? How long were you married?
I haven't been. I've been with my guy for 30 years.
So but you've had this happen to friends?
People, I've had a family member that went through a horrific situation, and I've had friends that have, they're still together and they lead separate lives. So what's the point of staying together if you lead separate lives?
Well, maybe my situation's a little different. I'm married for the right reasons and believe in commitment and promises made before God and everything else. And a lot of people don't. But let's face it, the number one reason for divorce is that people want to have sex with other people. I don't care what they tell you. They don't come out and say that, but that's why most people get divorced. And when people get divorced that have been married for 40 years, or 36 in the case of John, formerly of Wellington, regardless of what John says, one of them wants to start having sex with other people. That's why they do it.
Well, you might very well be right, but that's not the case with everyone. I had a terrible situation in my own family, and they just did not. It was not good from the beginning, and the parents on both sides.
Well, when you say not good, what does that mean? Got beaten up?
From the beginning, and as time went on, they never really connected, and they stayed together for the children, and they ended up doing their own things, and they didn't stay together during the marriage, and they would shoot.
Well, like I told you, listen, like I've told you, I've known children of divorced parents of all different ages, from young children up to adults, and the adult children get very angry at their parents when they get divorced when they're older. It's very destructive for the relationship with the children. You got to think. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Mary. You got to think about that. These people. There's so much justification for divorce that goes on in conservative circles, and a lot of times when gay marriage was a debatable issue, I never came out against gay marriage because I have certain priorities. If they were forcing churches to marry gay people, that'd be another thing. Okay, the marriage, when they're talking about gay marriage, they just want to be able to get that contract from the government. If they were forcing churches, but a lot of people talk about in conservative circles that, the sanctity of marriage, You go to your church, not my Catholic church, okay? You won't see this as often in the Catholic church because things are a little different. But you go to Protestant churches, your non-denominationals, your Baptist churches, do you ever hear them talk about the sanctity of marriage and how it's important to stay married to your wife and to your husband? You don't hear that too much because churches are filled with people that are married to their former mistresses. And there was this one, I remember there was this one group of Christians, and they used to talk about, divorce is allowed if you're unevenly yoked. And they will usually say that means on religion. And when these guys claim that they're getting divorced over Christianity, their wife won't go to church, or their wife doesn't believe, and they're unevenly yoked. More often than not, this is amazing. What a coincidence this is, right? Guys that are 40, 45, 50, they leave the mother of their children because they're unevenly yoked, and they just happen to be evenly yoked with a 25-year-old with huge boobs. It's amazing. It's amazing that this happened. You know what I'm talking about? So don't believe all this crap, okay? You're married, you stay married, okay? And I know people, somebody will call and say, well, Trump's divorced, you know. Hey, listen, no one is perfect, okay? There was only one man who was perfect. I say you stay married. It's very, very damaging to your family. A lot of people say, well, but the kids are grown, that's okay. It is very damaging to your adult children when you get divorced as an adult, okay? One of you is going to end up remarried, and no family, people will tell you this is not true, but it is true. There's no child that loves their step-parents. There's always friction. There's always jealousy and bitterness and anger with stepchildren, no matter how old they are, okay? So don't buy any of this crap. And those of you out there that think it's okay to get married, I don't want to hear any of you talk about the sanctity of marriage when it comes to it's like I'm pro-life. And I'm so pro-life, I'm opposed to the death penalty. But I don't advocate against the death penalty, because once they stop giving the death penalty to unborn children in the womb, then I'll worry about, the BTKs or this Long Island killer, And the same goes for marriage. I mean, the reason that churches, evangelical churches, don't talk about the evils of divorce is because if they did, the pews would be cleared. There's a lot of high and holy people in your churches who don't want to be confronted with the fact that they are adulterers that are married to their former mistress. It's like when those Christian bakers with the gay wedding cake, okay? And I would say, I wonder if they bake cakes for people that are getting married for the second time. What do you think? You think they do? Probably. So there's a lot of hypocrisy when it comes to divorce. All right, guys, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'll get back into the news and the issues. This is a topic I've been pulled into by our audience. We've had 2 conservative callers tell us about the joys of divorce, and I'm just not going to let that fly, okay? I'm sorry. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve K Show.
I don't know, I pinned your podcast link to the chat. Yeah, Mike's podcast link I pinned to the top of the chat, guys, so go and check that out. That's the Apple link. I'm sure it's on all the platforms, but that's the Apple link.
Spotify, Apple.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to film our new episode today.
Yeah, there's a big podcast studio here at the radio station that he uses. It's really nice. I've shown it on video before. It's a green screen room. Now, I'm not going to agree with the joys of divorce callers. I'm sorry. I mean, come on. A lot of judging. Well, every opinion is a judgment. Just sometimes those opinions just hit too close to home, so all of us, then you call it judgmental. Every opinion is a judgment. I don't know. Tell me in the chat, yes or no. Are you for or against people getting divorced? Incredibly destructive. I mean, if a woman's getting beaten up by her husband, that's another thing, right? But most people get divorced because they want to screw around. Men and women. Let's face it. None of this other crap that people tell you. They just don't say it that way. I'm very anti-divorce. Absolutely. Come on. Come on. Most divorces happen because of the Jesse Waters reason. One of them's been cheating. They've met somebody. That's the number one cause of divorce.
Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test owls around, but these are the only
Please. Both of my parents got divorced when I was 5 or 6. My father's been remarried, I don't even know how many times. Yeah, and what about the grandkids? How does it affect the grandkids? I would say 99% of divorces are because somebody wants to have sex with somebody else. And I would put in that umbrella people that are already having affairs. That's 99% of divorces. Saying that it's abusive or this or that, that's as common as when liberals are talking about abortion and they talk about the rape of the mother. That's like 0.5% of abortions are from the health or rape of the mother. Probably my father, Carol, since you ask. Mm-hmm. That's right. It's like in murders. Most murders are over sex or money. Rarely do people just randomly murder. Before I get back to the news, I got one more comment on the divorce. I got a warning to husbands and wives when we get back. Because this is important stuff.
You may not quite feel like yourself. If you're experiencing these feelings, you are not alone. And mental health issues can be treated. Talk with your OB.
Christine, I've just known so many people that have gotten divorced. And I'm trying to, I can't think of anyone that I've known of that's gotten divorced. Oh, this is our new cruise commercial.
Our 5th annual listener cruise. And
Listen.
You're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you are.
I got Liberal Al in there.
27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have
I know, I took a little jab at Liberal Al in the commercial.
all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail
I know.
Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Yeah, I know.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Did you hear that little jab I took at Liberal Al in that commercial for the cruise? That's true. There's other people that aren't invited too, but the other ones would be too triggered by it. But no, that's serious. There's a list of people of which Liberal Al are one of them, because our group's private, that are not invited. Let me finish up with this divorce thing, and then we'll get back to the news and the politics, okay? Because during the commercial break, I've just been getting reamed by people in our chat room about divorce. See, this is, and I did not bring this topic up. This is a topic that's been brought up by people in this audience, okay? What's the number one reason for divorce? Number one reason for divorce is sex, right? One of them either want to have sex with other people or they already are. Most people do not leave a marriage unless they got something else going on the side. Most men will not leave their wife unless they got another soon-to-be wife in the wings or a girlfriend. Women, you know, that go for the divorce fits into that thing that women want to get divorced. If they get divorced, while they still look good enough to find a new man. But I'm going to give some advice to married people out there. After 27 years of marriage, I think I can, of a happy, successful, long-term marriage, I think I can give advice, okay? This goes for both men and women, okay? If a friend of your spouse gets divorced, do not allow your wife or husband to hang out with their newly divorced friend. Did you hear? Does that make sense to you? Because when your husband or wife, this is really true with women, okay? Oh, it's very, very big true with women. When it's true with men too. When a friend of your spouse gets divorced, all of a sudden they become what you heard on the phones today from some of our very nice conservative listeners. They become advocates for divorce, right? You hear how happy divorce is from our conservative people on the line? Oh yeah, today. So what they start doing is they start working on your spouse to destroy your marriage. I've seen this happen more than once, okay? And if you're someone who knows me and you think I'm talking about you, I may be thinking of you, but I know this has happened to many people. When a married man or a married woman's friend gets divorced, all their friend does is tell how great it is to be divorced and work them up, and it destroys marriages. I've seen it happen many, many times. So married men and women should not be associating with divorced people, especially newly divorced friends. Stay away from them and do not allow your husband or your wife to hang out with their newly divorced friends. They become, you hear it on the phone. Oh, it's perfect, and they're happy now, and I can get, you know the rest of that. Big problem. And the women, it's worse than the men, okay? Because the men might be tempted by their friend that's now all over the dating apps and scoring every other night, but he's thinking, well, wait a minute, I got child support, I got alimony. The wives, when the wife has a friend who got divorced, they don't just tell him how wild and free it is. They tell him, and my husband pays for it. I got the alimony. I got the house. That's right. And I don't even have to worry. So you see how quickly people become advocates for divorce. So do not let your spouse be friends with divorced people, especially the newly divorced friends. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. This is George from Boca.
Hey, George and Boca. What's on your mind?
Hey, listen, I agree with you in part, but I disagree with you on the merit of what you just explained. And let me tell you why I disagree with you. I've been married like for 33 years.
Yeah.
As a counselor, I realized that one of the main reason why people divorce is because of finances.
Oh, please.
And I'll explain that. If you want to keep a marriage, if you want to stay together, your finances have to become one, just like how you are both one in marriage. I found that whenever people have like separate accounts, my wife, this is my money, and the husband, this is my money, and the two twain just don't meet. It's very impossible to plan.
Okay, let's slow down. This is so you're some type of counselor to married people?
I'm a financial counselor.
You're a financial, okay. Now, I'm not talking about second marriages, because it is very common for people in second marriages to keep finances separate, okay? But in a first marriage, why do you think a husband wants to keep his finances separate from his wife?
A lot of it has to do with what we call prenuptial agreement.
No. No.
I mean, yeah, sometimes let's say one spouse is well off and the other spouse is not. And the other spouse might think that, listen, I might have kids. I'm not going to let you have kids.
Okay, slow down. That's not a first marriage. That's not a first marriage. In a first, you're talking about a second marriage where there's kids from in a first marriage, okay, this one that's rich, not many people are marrying Kennedys, okay? Most people don't have prenups. In a first marriage, the reason that a husband would want to keep his finances separate if he does such a thing is so that he can screw around and his wife not know about it.
Well, that's
if there's a first marriage, and the husband is keeping his finances separate, he's messing around. You know, me, I don't handle any of the money. My wife handles everything, and I often call my wife before I buy things, just to run it by her. You know what I mean? I don't use credit cards, you know, but my wife, she has all the bank information and everything. If you're married to a man in your first marriage and he has a separate bank account, he's messing around on you, ladies.
That's true. No, that's true. You're right. You're right on that. That's why I made a point about to maintain, to have a successful marriage. Well, two people need to do.
But you're in the financial business, so people come to you with financial stuff. The number one reason for divorce is they want to have sex with other people. That's the number one reason. Number one reason.
That's true. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you another side to the reason why a lot of people get divorced. I found that out in my daily intercourse with people. Is that finances, they can't trust each other. The sex part, I understand. A guy's not gonna just walk out on a woman unless there's someone on the side, like our famous President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Doing around.
Most every time.
So that's true. You're right on the marriage. So I give that to you, but when you check the finances.
And in a second marriage, people often keep finances separate in a second marriage, and that's a good idea. But a second marriage is a whole different situation than a first marriage, because it's not the same situation for many reasons. Often on a second marriage, you're not a kid typically, and you have a little bit of something. You might have kids. You want to leave them your money so that the other kids don't get. That's what we talk about with Attorney Barry Siegel. In a first marriage, money is not why people get divorced. It's not why.
Well, that's debatable. That's debatable. But Brian, I want to run something else quickly before I go. We're focusing on Joe Biden running his re-election campaign. We're losing sight of the fact that Joe Biden is like a Trojan horse to bring Kamala Harris into the White House.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be careful of that. That's what it's all about.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. That we're in a dangerous situation right now. Okay, that this country very well may be in the most danger it has been in any of our lifetimes, and I'm even talking about those of you that were around during the Second World War. And the reason I say that is because our president does things for money. I give you an example. Okay, there's some new evidence that has come out today that Zelensky had a representative in the room with Hunter doing his crooked dealings for his daddy. Right? Joe Biden took a $10 million bribe from Ukraine when he was vice president to get that prosecutor off the back of Burisma. Out of all the countries in the world, do you think it's just a coincidence or too coincidental that we happen to be in a war now in a country that bribed Joe Biden for $10 million?
Only the idiots don't see.
Joe Biden, when you're on the, and that's dangerous. When you have a president who takes bribes and then makes major moves with the government, and he's been doing this his whole career, that he did that when he was vice president. Now he's president, he can do anything. It's very dangerous. Second thing that makes him dangerous is because of his cognitive decline, we don't know who's running the country. There was some reporting late last week that Joe Biden's sister is in charge. She's run every one of his campaigns since his first one, and they say he doesn't make a decision without running it by his sister. who's a real lunatic, and she's more corrupt than he is. She's like, she's the accountant for the mafia kind of person. So, we have a crime family of mobsters and gangsters who take bribes and do favors on behalf of the United States in exchange for this. That's dangerous. And that's more dangerous than making Willie Brown's girlfriend the president, quite frankly.
Yeah, I know. I believe that this arrangement with Zelensky was an arrangement of convenience. He did not know that Biden was going to become president, but now that he's president, now the shakedown is happening right before their eyes. And
listen, we saw him. He was bragging about it. That I told them that he threatened with Burisma. He didn't. There's a part that they're leaving out of the story a lot, but he took the $10 million bribe. They really didn't want to pay him, and he said, if you don't pay me, I guess they were negotiating on the amount, and he wanted $10 million. And Joe Biden said, it was on all over the internet, it was on television, it was on C-SPAN. He says, when I leave the country, if you don't give me the $10 million, you're going to lose all U.S. aid. And they said, you're not president, you're only vice president. He said, call Barack up right now. I'll get him on the phone for you. So he threatened, now they weren't at war yet, but war was being threatened by Russia on Ukraine. He threatened to take away all U.S. aid to Ukraine if they didn't pay him $10 million. What is he doing now that he controls everything? If he did that then, what's he doing now?
he's in a bind because he made an alliance with the devil. Now the devil is demanding all everything that they need to succeed. So they're going to pressure him. They're going to do this, and the buffoon has no other way to get around it because he sold his soul to the devil, and now he has to pay.
That's right. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right, take care. All right, we'll be right back.
The cold, hard.
Great calls today, by the way.
Delivered morning 6 to
May have been a bluff.
here on
We don't know. Could have been a bluff. But if it was a bluff, he pulled it off, right? Yeah, he pulled off the bluff. Mm-hmm. That's what the $10 million was for. He was negotiating the money and the firing of the person. They didn't want to pay $10 million. He was negotiating both. He had negotiated for the $10 million and negotiated to get the guy fired, both. That was probably the whole reason he went to Ukraine then. Mm-hmm.
And their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box. And they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test styles around, but these are the only two advertised on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Any lab test.
It was $1 billion, not 10 million? No, the money that they transferred to his bank account was 10 million. But you don't have to have people tell me. You can call me on the air and tell me anything. He's going to be impeached, but that doesn't mean removed from office.
Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons from Florida Weekly. This week's paper is Cuteness Overload with winners of our Pet Photos contest. We chill with a book on ice, a vintage shell napkin holder transports me to the past, and the dish feasts on dinner to go from Doris Market. Read these and other stories in Florida Weekly. Available throughout Palm Beach County. Available online at floridaweekly.com.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I want to tell you guys about the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. It is amazing. I've been sleeping on my MyPillow 2.0. My wife and I each have one since February. We got it the week we came back from our last cruise. And with this over 100 degrees heat index, it's hot even at night, man. I mean, my goodness. I went out this morning. It was like 4:30 to take out the trash, and it was hot. I was sweating. I mean, it's just hot. But with that cooling technology, your head and face are always the perfect temperature. You'll never turn the pillow over looking for the cool side again. And you really need that in this summertime heat that we're suffering through. The MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free with your promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Buy one, get one free. It's machine washable as well. We wash ours every time we wash the sheets. And it looks like the day we got it in the mail from Mike Lindell. You can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, not just the ones I talk about. I share with you what I think are the best deals and the must-haves and things like that, but there's over 200 items at MyPillow.com, many, many specials. You can take advantage of all of them with our promo code KANE. You can also, the MyPillow 2.0 again with cooling technology is buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. But you can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
People need to stop falling for the okie doke. They're not going to impeach Joe Biden. This is just political theater, so it looks like the Republicans are doing something. They're going to bring them in. They're going to clutch their pearls. They're going to feign the outrage. Something's going to be inadmissible or non-verifiable. Biden's not going to be impeached. Y'all need to stop falling.
Okay, now slow down, because let me clarify what you're saying, because I know you know what you're talking about. I mean, but most people, I'm not saying this is true with you, most people don't view impeachment as what it is. An impeachment is the vote in the House, and then it goes into a trial in the Senate. Now, I agree the Senate is not going to remove Joe Biden, but the House is going to impeach him. You don't think Kevin McCarthy is going to impeach him and send it over to the Senate? You don't think that's going to happen?
I believe this is political theater. It's gassing.
Okay. So you do not believe that he's going to be impeached in the House?
100%.
Oh my goodness.
You know how I know, and this is how I know. Marjorie Taylor Greene has filed how many articles of impeachment against Joe Biden? I think it's 5. Laura Boebert has filed. Now, all of a sudden, they're gonna just impeach Joe Biden now.
Well, because they've had this. You just can't say, okay, I know you're a crook, we're going to impeach you. You have to have evidence. We've had witness testimony, and they've got evidence of all these things about him now. And they're collecting more with these next few hearings that are coming up. So Kevin McCarthy is operating with that in mind, not just, okay, we know it, so we're going to impeach him. Peter Schweizer was on Fox last night, and he said after this next testimony, which is with the ex-friend of Hunter's, even Democrats are not going to say that he wasn't doing dirty business. So they're waiting for that to happen.
I am telling you, it's to make Republicans look like they're different.
Now, listen, with everything that's going, and I'll tell you another thing that makes me think that the impeachment proceedings are going to happen real quick, is because it's being reported today that the D.C. indictment on January 6th by that creep against President Trump could happen as soon as today. So when they're looking to indict President Trump again, that tells me that they need a diversion for something big happening with Biden.
I'm going to disagree.
I hope you're wrong. Let me tell you, if Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans do not impeach Biden after these witnesses we've had and this evidence, they're done. The Republican voters will turn on them like they've turned on Ron DeSantis, because that would be a betrayal.
Well, how many more times do the Republican Party have to betray America? Like, how many more times?
But this is different. We have a MAGA-controlled House of Representatives right now. This would not go over well. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. I
hope to God I'm wrong too, but based on what I've seen and based on how things are, this is it.
These witnesses, I'll tell you, this is what I was telling the callers earlier, okay? This is the deep state going after Biden, not the Republicans. Those IRS whistleblowers last week, those guys, if they weren't working for the deep state, their lives would be over forever. People like that don't come out and testify about criminal activity of Democrats unless they have some assurances from the establishment that they're going to be taken care of. I disagree with you. Hey, Andrea, I heard, okay, political I disagree. Take care.
On your cat.
Oh, the new cat. Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate our new cat, yes. Luna. All right, guys, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Now, this is a prediction I made a while back, and now it's happening. Mitt Romney, what a snake he is. I used to think he was a good guy. We had him on this show more than once, and we actually did an event with Mitt Romney when he was running for president over at Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs. And he's a very good politician because he's slick. He's slick. Mitt Romney has called upon the Republican donor class to start pressuring low-polling GOP candidates into dropping out of the presidential race so that they can unify against Trump. And he has been personally contacting these donors. He also wrote an op-ed that's in the Wall Street Journal. Remember I told you that? I told Steve that their next move was going to be, okay, we're dividing the never-Trumper vote too much. Let's get some of these losers to drop out and get behind one person against Trump. And Mitt Romney's making the move to do that. Good luck, Romney. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Carl in Columbus.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Brian. Obama could have put anyone in charge over Ukraine, over handling Ukraine, and he chose Biden. And if you don't think, what do you think Obama's kickback was for all that?
He's got a big old house.
Bank records. I wouldn't doubt it if Obama got more than Biden got off of that.
I would not be surprised, but no one's going to go after the first black president and be made to look like a segregationist in the history books. So being the first black president gives you immunity to do anything you want to do.
Well, maybe Biden's the fall guy. Maybe Obama had all this in mind when he put Biden in charge.
I don't know.
Maybe Obama's like telling the deep state to nail him.
Obama, Joe Biden and his family that have been running this country have gone against what they wanted on more than one occasion. The exact reason they're trying to rid us of him, I don't know, but people don't, you got to remember this. The Bidens hate Kamala. She humiliated Biden in the first Democrat debate, right? Called him out on some things and he was destroyed. Obama went to Biden and told him to make Kamala your running mate. So people keep saying they don't want Kamala, they don't want Kamala. Biden wanted Kamala. She's vice president because Obama made it happen. So don't assume that they dislike her as much as we do. Obama wanted her there for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
So he likes Kamala.
maybe with all this Ukraine stuff in mind, you know. I mean,
it's possible.
I mean, they think long term. Republicans don't think long.
Correct.
They're 3 moves ahead of us.
They are right now. They really are in many ways. There's a bigger picture. I've been telling people all day. The Republicans aren't bringing Joe Biden down. The deep state are bringing Joe Biden down.
They're setting up meetings with Republicans, with people that just to set them up. You know.
Yes.
Like what they did with.
Well, listen, I gotta run for the top of the hour, but good points, good call. Thanks so much, Carl in Columbus. All right, it's the time for our top of the hour break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm first morning meteorologist Vanessa Dinez from WPBF 25 News. Another hot day ahead with feels like temperatures climbing into the hundreds once again with a heat advisory for Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock this evening. We'll see hot temperatures again on your Wednesday with a couple more showers in the forecast.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
95 northbound ramp from Glades Road, an accident is still blocking the on-ramp right shoulder causing no delay at this time.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is our top of the hour break. Steve's going to join us when we get back.
Try Tri-County Metals free panel selector tool on their website at TriCountyMetals.com, and we'll help you make your decision. And it's free and easy at TriCountyMetals.com. That's traffic from Chris Barr. Traffic service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Interesting.
Palm Beach County's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks and around the country, including Saratoga Racetrack. Visit our incredible paddock restaurant with over 130 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional dining, a full bar, and an impressive wine list. The paddock is also your best bet for special events. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Here's your true Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rivers. Payback time for House Republicans under intense pressure from the far right wing of the Republican caucus. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy suggests they could soon open an investigation that could lead to an impeachment of President Biden over allegations of foreign business deals and bribes.
And this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed.
The Speaker on Fox News calling it illegal. The Biden administration has sued Texas to force the removal of a 1,000-foot-long barrier on the Rio Grande to keep migrants out. The federal government regulates the waterway. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's exercising the state's sovereign right to protect its borders. A headless corpse was found in a hotel room in the northern Japanese city of Sapporo 3 weeks ago. Police now say they've arrested a woman and her parents in the bizarre case. This is ABC News.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 True Oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security
I'm just reading over a couple articles we're going to talk about when we get back.
Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RPM. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Wayne Adams. RPM. Saturday mornings 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies Channel.
On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, man, a lot of great news today. Oh.
Remind me this friend of Biden's that's testifying to that.
No. I don't know too much about it other than it's a friend of Hunter's who has, yeah, and this, a former best friend. And there's going to be evidence, introduced that Hunter would get Joe on the speakerphone and he would participate in these crooked meetings via speakerphone. Since he was vice president, there would be a record of wherever he was at physically. He could make cell phone calls and not be a record of being in the meeting. So he was doing meetings over phones for all these crooked dealings. So, it's not this guy, it's all the guys combined. The FBI whistleblower, the IRS whistleblowers, the bank accounts, the guy that gave him the $10 million in Ukraine, this guy. It's not this guy, it's all these guys together.
Listening last night to all the stations, some of which you don't listen to anymore.
All the Satanic Temple people over at Fox, yeah.
Is back in the bottle.
That's not true.
That's the genie.
The devil's hiding. The devil's hiding at Fox because... Well, no, because we don't know who at Fox was making the donations to Planned Parenthood in the Satanic Temple. You can't make a current donation. They stopped taking the donations for the Satanist and the Planned Parenthood and all that. But we don't know who made the donations. They're still at Fox.
We know whoever they were hysterically insane to freak out under the pressure that was on there. Talk about bad decisions.
No, I know.
Good grief.
No, so it's not any particular witness, Steve. It's witness after witness has come forward with with more and more evidence, and it's just a snowball effect against Biden. This guy's just adding to the snowball effect. You guys, those of you that are born and raised in Florida may not know the snowball effect, but you roll a little snowball and you keep rolling, it gets bigger the farther you push it, That's what's going on here. And he's in trouble. I mean, that Fox had Peter Schweizer on Hannity and they had McCarthy on Fox yesterday. Yeah, so McCarthy's talking about impeachment. Peter Schweizer, who's the leading expert on Biden's financial crimes, is saying that this is going to be the end. McCarthy said yesterday that they're in impeachment area now.
The reality is we've been through so many false leads and hopes that they're going to get him this time. They never really laid a glove on. I mean, they
got to be more patient.
Look pretty bad. Well, obviously.
Yeah. I got some information today on some of our listeners. One of them was earlier. One of our listeners, after 36 years of marriage, have gotten divorced. Oh my goodness. How awful is that? And we got these divorce advocates in the audience today. I mean, my goodness. Well, okay, I'll turn the show over to you, Steve, since I was going somewhere that you just told me you're not interested in, but I'm not going to do it now, but I appreciate that. Steve, I'm not interested in what you're talking about either. It's quite boring. I appreciate that. If you've got something new to add that I haven't talked about for the last 2 hours, I'm open to it, but I don't appreciate. Yeah, I mean, Steve, come on. Well, when I'm bringing up something and you tell me you're not interested and it's boring, you know, if you've got something better and a place to go, I'm with you. But I don't really think that's nice to do. Do I do that? You don't think you ever bring up anything that I'm not interested in? Do I say? But I pretend and I go along because we're, you know, a team, you know. But that's, you know, that's just me, you know. But maybe you're not into the teamwork as much. I guess. I mean, it seems that way, but no, I'm not. I don't really appreciate that. All right. Anyway, our number is 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I had somewhere I was going to go, but I'm not going to go there now. No, you've got things that are more interesting on your mind, Steve. Since you said you're not interested in what I'm talking about and you're bored by it, that obviously indicates that you have something more interesting than what I was going to bring, even though you didn't know what I was going to bring up. No, you didn't know what I was going to bring up, but you already have decided, you've already spoiled the discussion. How could I even get a dialogue going on where I was going to go if you said you're not interested and it's boring? You know, and by the way, boring, I mean, you know, that's what you get on the Kaufman show. Nothing we do here is uninteresting or boring. Okay, so, you know, if I were Joyce Kaufman and you said what I was talking about was boring and uninteresting, I wouldn't be able to argue with you because she's boring and uninteresting. Exactly. Anyway, let me open up the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. But here's what I think's in play with Biden. I'm telling you, he's going to resign from office. He's going to be impeached. They're not going to remove him. Steve, there's never been a president removed after an impeachment. Okay? And we've gone through many impeachments, okay? And no president has ever been removed from after they've been impeached. Because once it gets into the Senate, you need 3/4 of the Senate. It gets very political at that point, and it's like the O.J. Simpson jury, right? You got a bunch, so it's never going to happen. No, he's going to be impeached. He's going to be impeached. Kevin McCarthy said as much on Fox yesterday. He's going to be impeached. And they're at that point now, okay, because of all this evidence. And I think what they're going to do to get him to resign is threaten to put family members in jail. There was, on Friday, a story came out that for the first time, and I mean, thankfully, that they were connecting Biden's sister to the crimes, right? So we've got not just Hunter. He doesn't care about. Yeah, they say she may be running the government. They say, you know, and Biden does not care about Hunter. All right, Hunter is a junkie, and his dad gives him access to unlimited money. Look what happened. They find the cocaine in the White House. They immediately look at the extremes they went to cover it up. He doesn't.
Hunter, are you saying that he doesn't care about the?
Well, no, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the consequences to Hunter. Okay, he does not care. Steve, he had the laptop, so he's been revealing everything. Okay, no, he doesn't care about it. But what we've learned lately is it isn't just Hunter. It's Biden's sister, his brother, their families, and Biden's grandkids and all of that. And Biden's brother and sister, they're going to be threatened with jail because they're up to their eyeballs in these financial crimes too. Mark Levin dropped something on Sunday night. I mentioned this to you yesterday. By the way, am I boring you still, Steve? Are you interested at this point? Okay. All right. You know. Well, no, I had somewhere else that was very interesting to go into, but yeah. But anyway, Well, no, I just think that before you say you're not interested, you should have a place to go that you're interested in. You shouldn't shoot down what I'm bringing up unless you have a place to go. But anyway, back to this. As this evidence comes out, Joe Biden's brother and sister are involved in a lot of criminal activity. And when the threat of them going to jail is something they're faced with, then that'll put the pressure on Joe to resign. Joe would let Hunter go to prison any day of the week. He doesn't care. But his sister and brother, that's a whole nother deal, okay? So I think they're going to use that to get him to resign. He's going to be impeached by the House, not removed by the Senate, but they're going to get him to resign. And I don't buy this thing that I was talking to a caller about this earlier. I don't buy this thing that no one likes Kamala. We don't like Kamala, but remember, Obama made her the vice president for Biden. So he's running. They keep telling us he's running the show right now, Obama, at the White House. So yeah. So don't assume that they don't want Obama or Kamala to be the president. Just because we don't like her, Obama put her where she's at. And he likes her, and he's calling the shots. Yeah.
It would surprise me. I mean, it's just the very fact they chose Kamala to begin with gives you an indication of how far removed from reality they really.
So I think he's going to resign from office, and then that would make Kamala the president, and whoever she picks as vice president is most likely to be the nominee. No. They're going to tell her who it is. But once she becomes president, they lose control of her. You know, Kamala Harris has been having sex with married men like Willie Brown her whole career to move up to the next level of position. Once she gets once she becomes president, they can no longer control her because she'll always be the first female president. Yes, correct. Yeah, no, it's chaotic. It's chaotic. But if we survive, if the country survives, but once they make her president, they lose control of her.
I suppose this is a little selfish, but I confess that I kind of like to see Biden run. I have very mixed feelings about it.
Steve, no, it's dangerous. If he takes bribes to do things. He could take a bribe to get us involved in another war. It's dangerous. He could take a bribe. He could take a bribe that could give China Taiwan. I mean, there's all kinds of things he could do. Okay, so you can't. It's too dangerous. It's less dangerous to have Kamala as president than this guy. Listen, we'll take our break. Hopefully, Steve's interested and not bored. We'll find out. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. What do you have for us, Barry?
Hey, good morning, Steve. Good morning, Brian. How are you guys doing today?
We're great.
Well, very excited that in about a week or so, on August 8th, we're going to have our very first successor trustee seminar. That's going to be at 5:30 at our office in Boca Raton. It's an opportunity for our current clients or just anyone out there who has a revocable living trust and has named successor trustees that they may be concerned that their successor trustees may have never served as a successor trustee before in a trust, and realize that your successor trustee, if they don't know what to do, how are they going to do that very important fiduciary duty to you and that responsibility for you when they don't know what they're doing. So it's going to be a training for your successor trustee, as over 50% of the time, people are going to be at a point in their life where they may not be able to handle their own affairs. And really, the successor trustee's job is to do two things. One is, at your death, to distribute the assets to your loved ones, to your beneficiaries. And two, and very importantly, during your lifetime, should you become mentally incapable of handling your own affairs, your successor trustee's job is to follow the instructions in the trust to take care of you and do the things that you would have done for yourself. Step into your shoes and take care of you during your incapacity. Don't you want that person to know what they're doing and have the training and experience to know what to do when that time comes? That's what we're going to be teaching at our upcoming successor.
Now, the successor trustee seminar, what is the date on this one, Barry?
That is going to be on August 8th in our office at 5:30 p.m. Typically, we do our seminars earlier in the day, either 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. But this one we're doing because we know that clients, trustees, who may be their kids, may be working and may not be able to make it during the day, so we wanted to make it a little bit later. We'll do some other ones in the future too. We're looking at doing Saturday mornings and times like that would be more.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, the workshops at the Siegel Law Group are always no charge, but they do fill up. And this is the first time that Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group have done a seminar, a workshop for the trustees. And I would recommend that you call now and reserve your spot. And again, it's totally free, but they just need to know how many people are going to be there. This one's going to fill up. And when you call, they'll give you directions as well. You can find them online at SiegelLawGroup.com or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
All right, back after this. All right, we are back. Our number 1-888-GO, Kane 1-888-465. Somebody asked me off the air, okay, because this little spat we're having. What do I do if they asked me? What do I do if you, Steve, bring up something that I'm not interested in? Okay, how do I handle that? Or if I don't think it's interesting for the audience? This is what we do everything on the air, people. This is live. This is what I do. I'll talk about it and pivot into something else. I'll talk about it and pivot into something else, okay? I don't say, it's boring, Steve. I'm not interested. I did just a little technique. All right, you're on the air. What's your...
Write that down?
Yes. Pivot into something else. You've never heard me say, Steve, I'm not interested and that's boring. Let's talk about something else. I talk about it and pivot into something else. I've probably done it a million times, and that's what I'm sure you've done to me a million times.
You pivot into things that are most...
No. You wouldn't know. You have never heard me say, Steve, I'm not interested in that. You talk about something else. I've never said that, ever. Anyway, caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, speechless caller. You called us.
Hello.
Oh, yes. Hey, PJ.
Yeah, hey, you know why Biden got caught is the big reason? He's just stupid. That's it. It's stupid. Because if you notice that most people in Congress and the Senate that are corrupt, they do it by buying stuff, by using their positions to, like Nancy Pelosi, get rich on the stock market.
Well, okay. I'm going to disagree with you there. Okay. Now, Peter Schweizer has said for years that everybody in Washington does what Biden does, but he does it on a much grander scale than anyone else. Okay. He's got at least 5 family members, not including Hunter, that are doing dirty deal. This is what I think happened, PJ. Biden has done something to cross the deep state. And if you notice, all the evidence that we have is from the deep state, the bank accounts, the FBI documents, the FBI. I don't know exactly what it is. I've speculated. I'm not sure. He's gone against the deep state, and this bribery thing is one of the things that they keep in that J. Edgar Hoover file of everybody that they open up to threaten you with. If you don't play ball, like when they threw the fake dossier to Trump, when Comey did it, and this is just one of the dirty deeds they have on Biden that they're using to bring him down because he did something to tick off the deep state, in my opinion.
Well,
Thank you, PJ Vehicle.
That's something is obvious. Wait, that's...
Excuse me. Moving on,
Okay.
PJ, with your permission.
Okay.
I think that
PJ's not interested either.
day, it seems to be that he seems to be self-destructing, and they can't afford to keep him around because he's a nutcase.
Well, and he's gotten very feeble. And in fact, I was telling you, now finally this has made the mainstream news. The NBC News is commending Joe Biden's staff for making accommodations for his disabilities, like using the shorter stairs on Air Force One to go in the underneath luggage door and all that stuff. He did something that turned the deep state against him, Steve. I don't know what that is, but he did something, because it's not the Republicans bringing him down. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, it's Augustino.
Yes, Augustino.
I really like your shirt. How about that?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I really like your board op, too.
Really? What team are you playing? You straight, Augustino?
Good time, because I like it. I like your programs. I like your podcast.
Well, thank you. Well, let's get to the butt part. Yes.
And I appreciate that, but I'm calling about Robert F. Kennedy, and I don't know why that stupid Democratic lady had to censor him. That pisses me off.
Are you talking about Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Yeah.
Dumbbell.
We were talking about that. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I have never seen a Democrat as disrespectful to a Kennedy as she was to Bobby Kennedy Jr. That was really beyond just inappropriate.
Yes, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is on a regular basis. She's just outdone herself lately. I've never seen her as obnoxious as.
And the thing about the Kennedys, we were talking about this last week, Debbie Wasserman Schultz never met a Kennedy she didn't love, except Bobby Kennedy Jr., and that includes Kennedys that have killed women, like Ted Kennedy, right? Ted Kennedy murdered a woman, vehicular manslaughter, and I never heard her take issue with him, So if you're a Kennedy and you kill people, you leave them to die, they accuse you of raping them. Most everyone thinks that the Kennedys killed Marilyn Monroe. You can kill Marilyn Monroe. You can do whatever you want to do, except question Fauci and challenge Biden verbally. Then you're a bad Kennedy, and they're out to destroy you. I mean, even Robert Kennedy Jr. He has a checkered past with his late wife, who committed suicide, and many people blame him for that. I don't know. Remember he had a woman in every town, Steve, and he had a diary. He kept track of. That didn't bother Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the Democrats. But you question Fauci with your words, and you challenge Biden, you're done.
Well, what about that colored person sitting there?
That what person?
Colored? I got to use the proper term.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little out of date, Augustino.
The colored person, the one next to.
That's not a nice word. That's like the N word, Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Like that. Oh my goodness. It's been a long time since I heard someone use that word, Steve. When's the last time you heard someone use that? Instead of, you didn't hear what Augustino said? I don't even know if I should repeat it. I think I'll tell you off the air after the show what he said. People heard it, but I'm not going to say it. It's not a word that you have to dump, but it's a word that I don't want to be used with my voice on the air. I will tell you after the show. It's a word that you probably heard a lot growing up, because it's an old word, and it's one that went out with swell. But I'll tell you after the show what it was. All right. Well, I won't forget. I won't forget. Now Steve's interested. All of us. Now Steve's interested, right? Not more now. That's right. Eventually. Oh my goodness. We'll be right back.
It's the Steve Kane Show
Brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1
Mm.
Central Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
I mean, when's the last time I haven't heard
PatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
that's an old one.
True Oldies Traffic Check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
I even tried to get him to correct it, and he did not.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. EBKC is Palm Beach County's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks and around the country, including Saratoga Racetrack. Visit our incredible paddock restaurant with over 130 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional dining, a
No.
full bar, and an impressive wine list. The paddock is also your best bet for special events. Go to PBK.
No, Wanda, it is not the same.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
I'm not going to give Augustino a hard time. I mean, you know, if he said the N word, it'd be a whole nother thing. But, you know.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons from Florida Weekly. This week's paper is Cuteness Overload with winners of our Pet Photos contest. We show with a book on ice, a vintage show napkin holder transports me to the past, and the dish feasts on dinner to go from Norris Market. Read these and other stories in Florida Weekly, available throughout.
It's a beautiful day out.
Online at floridaweekly.com.
back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. So far as what Agostino said, I'm not going to say it. Well, I want to tell people what to do. If you want to hear what he said, about an hour after we sign off the air each day, Mike, our board op, uploads the entire show to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. And if you go to trueoldiesfla.com, about an hour after the show each day, the entire show is uploaded as a podcast and uploaded there forever. So after 10 o'clock, go to trueoldiesfla.com, 10 o'clock or so. I don't want to put time pressure on Mike. He's busy doing stuff that he's got to have it up by 10. But a little while after we go off the air, you can go and listen and hear Agostino in stereophonic sound and hear what he said. All right? You want to take some calls, Steve? Or okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
George, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, George.
Hey, hi. I don't find Joyce Kaufman at all boring. I think she...
Have you heard the show? Have you heard the show?
The show for the last, say, 2 months.
Oh my goodness. Let me ask you, when you're listening to Joyce, are you driving?
Not at all.
Oh, good.
Okay. I'll just give you one opinion. I'm sure I won't change yours, but I think she's very well researched. And so
Oh, research. She's researched. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. All right. Oh boy. Call me back in 3 more months. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from New Hampshire. Good morning, gentlemen. I was thinking about Biden, and I'd like to say that I can't imagine, certain things happening, but in this environment, anything. You've got Fox News, you've got Paul Ryan handing out upside-down crosses probably at corporate events at Fox. And I think what they're going to do with Biden, I just don't see him making it. The impeachment, I believe, will happen. Brian, I can't see that they don't have the votes, even though we just got the majority in the House.
Well, they can impeach, but not remove from office.
Correct. The Senate, they won't remove them. There's no way to get 18 senators to join. But what I think is probably going to happen, because the deep state, even the Democrats who are putting up a false front here, they all know he's gone. Everybody knows it. And I think what they'll probably end up doing is they're going to have a planned, they're going to obviously plan this out like they do. They're good criminals. And they're going to plan some kind of a medical event.
Well, you don't have to do much planning. You don't have to do much planning when they have him going in the luggage door on Air Force One on the baby steps. I didn't even know that door existed, and I've never seen those steps before. And that's a big change. They obviously, if they were going to use his cognitive and health problems, they wouldn't be going through this impeachment. This is JJ. All these witnesses and evidence that is concrete, documented evidence that has come out, none of it has been discovered by Republicans. It was given to them by the FBI and deep state. So then why would the deep state go through that if they could just have his mind being gone as a reason? Why would they go through all this? Exactly.
They don't want the story. They don't want the story of his mind going. They don't want all these things you're talking about. Anything's possible. But what I believe they're going to do is a medical thing like a heart attack.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. We don't need to predict things. But anyway, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Jane from Louisiana.
Hey, Louisiana. Oh, we lost the call. They got her. They snagged the call there. Oh, okay. I wanted to tell you. I don't know what happened in Louisiana. A lot when we often I give you a little bit behind the scenes and then I'll do the transition. Steve and I are very good at commercials, and we do live commercials on this program, right? And oftentimes we transist into live commercials without you knowing it. Sometimes you'll hear me say, Steve, I'm doing a very clever transition into a spot. Have you ever heard me say? Earlier, when I talked about the caller getting divorced, I was transitioning into a spot then, and I just, after Steve said it was boring, I didn't want to do a commercial after he declared what I was saying was boring. But earlier in the show, I got a call from one of our longtime listeners and regular callers, John in Wellington, who's now in Delray, and after 32 years of marriage, he and his wife have divorced. And I was transitioning into talking about our 5th annual listener cruise, which leaves April 27th on the Celebrity Beyond to Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Yeah, the Celebrity Beyond is the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines. It is their newest ship. I've been on this ship. It is beautiful. And I announced yesterday that 2 of our listeners who met on the last cruise, they did not know each other before. They met on the cruise, just announced that they're getting engaged. And we have a lot of singles in this audience. Some are newly divorced, like John, who's now in Delray, and others. And if you're looking for love, join us on our cruise. This one is going to be wild. We have shore excursions in every port. These are the best, most exciting shore excursions we have ever done. And that's saying a lot, because we had that catamaran ride on the last one. That was like paradise. The cruise before that, when we went out to the Blue Lagoon, oh my, I mean, we've just had incredible shore excursions that are just fantastic. But we have shore excursions to trump those, and we have them in every port. The summer sales event's still going on. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot at 561-244-5779 and make your reservations during the summer sales event. You'll get great pricing. If you've already made a reservation, call Ian, touch base, make sure you're locked into these shore excursions, and check and make sure you're getting the summer sales event pricing as well. But now that we're matchmakers, Steve and I, if you are single or newly single, join us. If you're alone, both of the people were single on the cruise. Okay, and one of them came completely alone. So if you're single and alone, that may make it easier for you to meet someone. You understand what I mean? Because a lot of times people are divorced, or they're a widow, or they're single, and they're like, I don't know if I want to go by myself. You won't be alone. We've got a great MAGA family of people, and you may meet the next love of your life. 561-244-5779. That's where I was going at the top when Steve got bored real quick. But we got this new demo out there, Steve, of the singles that I want to target. All right, now our number is toll-free, 1-888-GIO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll take our break in a moment and come back with the gold report, and after that we'll take some more calls. But I'm going to stick with I believe Biden is going to resign from office, and Kamala is going to become the first female president. I just got that feeling this morning when I watched Kevin McCarthy talk about the impeachment. We'll get into some. Hey, I always feel horrible when Democrats are running things. But Steve, I'll tell you about it after the break, all right? We'll take our break. We'll come back with the gold report. We'll continue with your calls. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. How are the metals starting the day off, William Youngerman?
Metals are starting on the upside this morning, gaining back some of their losses from yesterday. Gold dropped $6.80 yesterday, closing at $1,954.10. Again, $1,950 seems to be a strong support for the metal. Silver was down 23 cents, closing at $24.31, while platinum was down $4 at $9.58, and palladium lost $7 at $1,255. This morning, gold up $3.90 after trading in a range so far of $1,952 all the way up to $1,964. And like I said, currently at $1,958, that's up $3.90. Silver gained back all the losses from yesterday at $24.55, gaining 24 cents. Platinum up $10 at $9.68, and palladium up $10 at $1,265.
Well, things are looking really, really good. You know, one thing we talk about on occasion, but not too often, William Youngerman, is paper money. And a lot of times, people have paper money at home in a safe deposit box. When people have paper money, old paper money, obviously new paper money, you turn it into real money, gold. So, but people that have old paper money, that could have some value to it. Can people bring in old paper money, get it appraised, and maybe find out they got a treasure?
Indeed, we've surprised many people with our offers on some of the paper money that people have had laying around in envelopes, thinking that there was nothing special or something that Grandpa had put aside. Banknotes that have got thousands and thousands of dollars. So the opportunity there may be that you have a treasure laying in your safety deposit box you're not even aware of.
That's right. Yeah, and maybe mom, dad, grandma, grandpa left you something, and it's in an envelope in the back of your closet. Go see doctor. Go see William Youngerman. Then you'll need a doctor because you may be in the money. Okay, give him a call. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the...
All right. Yeah, you know, see, this is the thing, okay, Steve, with Kamala. And I was telling you earlier, people project that because we don't like Kamala, no one likes Kamala. And I'm telling you, Obama likes her a lot, made her vice president, okay? And
Bush. Want to have Kamala as you representing any party.
well, this is, okay. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know, because the Kamala we know now is the Kamala that has sex with married men to move up through the ranks of politics. We've never, Steve, she is ruthless. When she was the Attorney General of California, she will do whatever she's got to do to get to that next step, right? That next office, that next highest office. She's one step away from the final office. And she made a career putting black parents in prison or in jail if their kids skip school. Remember all that stuff? She's ruthless. She's more... No. What I'm telling, she's more ruthless than people realize, is what I'm telling you. She is more ruthless.
You know, in order for that to happen, she would not only have to get somebody above her to go along with it.
Obama. But this is, let me tell you, this is what I think happened with Joe Biden. I was telling you earlier that all this evidence that's come out has been given to the Republic, has been given to Comer and Jordan by the deep state, right? In particular, the FBI, the source, the documents, the banks, everything. Okay, I think Joe did two things that turned them against him. One was if you remember, the withdrawal of Afghanistan, the way we did it, blew the CIA's entire, and all the other intelligence agencies, but in particular the CIA. The CIA had a 20-year intelligence network that they built in Afghanistan that was connected to all the terrorist groups around the world, because Afghanistan's where they were all, that's where they were running things, right? And when we pulled out so quickly because Joe Biden had a senior moment, and I'm the big president around here, get out of there tomorrow, it blew the network, even giving the enemy the names of every source the CIA had. They left them at the... That's fine. I don't want to, bore people.
But I just want to point out to you my frustration. What you just said, I think, is very, very significant. To assume that they would reward her.
No, I'm not talking about, no. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Joe. So Joe Biden did... No. Steve, Trump is in trouble with the deep state because he challenges them. Joe Biden did two things that defied the deep state that has them after him. The first one was blowing their operation in Afghanistan. They lost their entire spy network in Afghanistan, building it up for 20 years. Second, and they let him get away with that, the second, he went against his promise not to run for re-election. He did those two things, and they're bringing him down. They think they can control Kamala because she seems so stupid all the time. And I'm not saying that she's another Dr. Ben Carson brain surgeon, but she's more ruthless and cunning than people give her credit for.
Cunning, and I think that she would be a sure loser in any kind of national, meaning vice president or presidential role. I think she would be a certain...
Well, they can't control Biden. They've lost control of Biden. They think, wrongly so, that they can control Kamala. So I think they're going to threaten to put his sister, his brother, in jail unless he resigns, and he'll do it. Make her the president.
Question. Do you think that if push comes to shove and they do this, do you think that Kamala, if she was, once she became president, oh my God, the words freeze in my throat. If she was ever successfully installed in the presidential office, do you think she would really run things and stand up to the
Yeah, this is my guess. Okay, this is my guess. Okay, Kamala Harris has been doing the worst things that a woman can do her entire adult life to get up through the ranks of politics, right? I don't need to tell you. You guys know. I've never been around a woman like this. But my guess is once they get to the top job, they become just monsters. And she walks around like a bumbling fool. She walks around like Dan Quayle, Steve. Okay? She's like, you know, and that's more of an act than you realize. I think what Kamala does is this is how she's gotten through life, manipulating men. And right now, she's manipulating men with this Dan Quayle act. Once she gets to the top job, we're not even going to recognize this woman. We're not even going to recognize her. She's going to be a totally different person.
It's a wild prediction.
I'm not saying that we're going to find out that she's brilliant. No. She's going to be angry. And I'll give you an example, Steve, okay? Look at Hollywood, right? Men no longer control Hollywood. It's being run by man-hating women. And look what's happening. Hollywood's tanking. They have a rare gem here and there, but because man-hating women have taken over because of Harvey Weinstein, they're running Hollywood like monsters. They're the worst Hollywood executives there ever have been since the early days, right? And that's what, when a woman gets through life putting up with crap from men and manipulating men and having sex with married men and everything else that Kamala's done, when they get to the top spot, they're out of control with power. They're drunk with power. But she does this Dan Quayle act so that the powers that be, Obama and all of them, think that she can be handled. Unlike Joe, who cannot be handled because his crime sister and his crime brother and his mob wife are out of control. That's what I think. I hope I am wrong, and this could change, but I think that's the plan.
Say this because it's in a way embarrassing for me, but I in my heart of hearts, I'm kind of rooting for Joe to be the candidate.
Joe? Steve, I'm scared. No, I'm scared. I'm scared because Steve, when he takes bribes to do things, now the gravy train that he's been on since Nixon was in office is about to end because of his age and everything else. God knows what he will do and get us involved in for more money for his crime family. It's too dangerous to have this guy and his crime family running the country. We've had bad presidents, but never like this.
Do you think that the powers that be have noticed this?
No, I don't think they. And Biden, since he announced he was going to run for re-election, that's what did it. That's what did it for him.
For
He wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to be either Governor Cuomo or Gavin Newsom. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, it's Lisa from Pompano.
Hey, Lisa.
I just want to say, Steve, I just want to say I agree with you 100%, Brian, that first of all, you never underestimate the power of a woman. And I've known people like her. I've worked with people like that were my bosses and did exactly what she did. And when they make it to the top, it's...
Are you okay? Oh, I heard you stopped talking and I heard a thud. I thought maybe you collapsed.
No, my dog jumped on the couch.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations with Luna, too. I hope I'll...
Thank you. The new cat we have, Steve.
Anyway,
What kind of cat? I don't want...
Siamese.
Oh, yeah, they're lovely cats.
Yeah, the beautiful. But anyways, and I don't know if you brought it up, so I had to take a shower. Did you hear anything about the the chef from the White House?
Well, I will tell you that when you're in, many people listen to us in the shower. This is morning drive. People listen on the toilet and in the shower. Showering is no excuse not to hear a moment of this program.
Anyways, what did you hear about the chef?
Yes, it's a tragedy. He had two kids. You have a conspiracy with that?
I always do in my mind, but because
why would somebody take out Obama's chef? I can only think of one reason.
Maybe he knows something.
Oh, I thought the only reason I could think of is he's having sex with Big Mike, but I can't imagine.
No, they apparently.
That's what they call Michelle, Big Mike, Steve. That's her nickname. That's her nickname. You haven't heard that one?
No.
I thought that too, but I didn't want to say it.
But the chef's a man. That doesn't make sense. Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
All right. Take care. There's no conspiracy with this. However, remember when the Clintons' dog committed suicide? Buddy? The Clintons, when Bill Clinton left office, he got a dog, Buddy, and Bill and Hillary were living together in Chappaqua, and the dog got run over, and a lot of people thought that the Clinton dog, Buddy, could not handle living with the two Clintons in the same house and threw himself in front of that car, out in front of it. There was the dog suicide. Oh my goodness! No, my brother-in-law had a stray cat, Steve. And since my daughter took her cat to California, we're a catless house, so we got a new cat, and she's very timid. She was hiding, and my wife, we couldn't find her. We thought she was in the couch, and I did something I've never done when I've had a new cat before. Couldn't find the cat anywhere, Steve, and I thought she was up inside the couch. So I turned on YouTube on my TV, and put on videos of cats meowing. And in about 2 minutes, she came out of hiding, started meowing, looking for the cat. And isn't that something? I tell you.
There's a huge gaping hole in my heart where my dog, my bulldog, died. So I'm still recovering from that, and I have not been successful in recovering. But I have a Siamese cat that is hairless.
Oh, that's gross. I couldn't handle that. I could not handle that. You mean like an Austin Powers?
I don't remember the Austin Powers.
Oh, really? Oh, I couldn't handle it.
And she's extremely affectionate, and she comes snuggling up, and it's like
hairless.
Don't take this wrong, but it crossed my mind, and it's too delicious not to pass on. It's like holding what I imagine a fetus would be.
Oh my, Steve! Oh my goodness! The heck is that about? Oh my God! Oh, all right. In closing, the captain of our ship, the Celebrity Beyond, Captain Kate, she has a hairless cat, and she has it on the ship. Maybe you can bond with Captain Kate on the cruise. I'll ask her if it feels like a fetus, but I don't know. Steve, we're out of time. On that low note, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Call us on hold. Stand by till tomorrow.
WWNN Pompano Beach.
So.
WIRK
All right, guys.
Indiantown.
Weird show today. Oh, my goodness.